Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. I'm going to tell you something very personal about me. I haven't been here in this community very long, but you deserve to know. I have contracted STD. Now, this bag gives me a clue that maybe I got it at TJ Maxx, but it could have been Target or the hardware store or Starbucks. I don't know, but I just know for sure I have skipping Thanksgiving disorder. And from the response, I think some of you can relate. Okay? So, I've got my big bag of joy here, and it's a wonderful thing, but with this skipping Thanksgiving disorder, say that 3 times fast, comes stress. Stress. I'm finding that my blood pressure might be a little high, and I'm not sleeping so well because I'm thinking about how perfect this Christmas is going to be when my family comes to join me here in Florida, and we're going to do all these things, and I have all these expectations, and I'm trying to control the planning. So in this time of joy, I'm finding myself actually really stressed. So I'm going to back it up. And I'm going to invite you to back up your skipping Thanksgiving disorder as well. And we're going to talk today about some unity wisdom on how to mitigate our stress. So I've been inspired by the author Eric Butterworth. He's a legend in Unity Circles. He wrote, "The whole universe is on your side. Life is forever based on the side of healing, of overcoming, and on the side of success. When you get yourself centered in the universal flow, you become synchronized with this divine bias for good." I want to be synchronized with the divine bias for good. How about you? Okay. So, Eric Butterworth tells us that when we're beginning any exploration of self-awareness, and this self-awareness is what we need to do to mitigate our triggers, our stress triggers, we have to begin this journey of self-awareness with our understanding of God. And I resonate with his description of God. Then I am going to reach into my little bag of joy and get my prop. Eric Butterworth says that God is a sphere, an infinite sphere, whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. So what does that mean? The center is everywhere. So God is my little pinky finger. God is my heart. God is Maggie's toes and Kathy's nose. God is Baxter's tummy full of his delicious oatmeal cookies. God is everything. And not just that God is in these things, but God is these things. We're going to hear Eddie sing, "God is the place," or "I am the place where God shows up." Yes. Say yes to that. Yes. Okay. The circumference is nowhere. That means there's no boundaries. This is the oneness of the divine. Where Maggie last week talked about the hula hoop, that's a circumference, that's a boundary. That's a boundary of our individual expression of the divine. But the divine has no limits. Think of the metaphor of the ocean, the expansiveness of the ocean. That is God. And each individual wave is an expression of that ocean. That's us. We are individual expressions in the oneness of the divine. So this is unity principles 1 and 2. There is only one presence, one power in the universe. And there's a spark of the divine in each and every one of us. Okay? So what do we do with that knowledge now? This is our foundation, where we're going to take a step out into this journey of self-awareness. Well, drawing from psychologist Dr. Gay Hendricks, an author of Conscious Living, he says that to be synchronized in the divine, we're going to move from conviction to curiosity. We're going to move from this place where we know and we're controlling everything to the place of infinite possibilities. Easier said than done, right? Fortunately, he gives us 5 steps. And the first one is to feel all of your feelings deeply. Feel all your feelings deeply. Has anybody ever been so angry, I am just never going to stop being angry? Hey, I'm Italian, I know that one. Or how about somebody asks you, how are you doing today? And with the tears welling up in your eyes and your lip quivering, you say, oh, I'm all right. You're not letting your feelings begin. So Dr. Hendricks says we have to feel our feelings deeply. We have to allow them to have their beginning, their middle, and their end. Let the feelings flow. Because our true essence is behind or beneath our feelings. We are not our feelings. And we watch them flow. When we're living from our true essence, that's when we are synchronized with the divine. And in fact, this is the second lesson. Seek your true self. Let your actions flow from that space of your true essence. And Eric Butterworth describes 2 ways of looking at life. One is that we come into life as an empty vessel, and we spend our entire lives grabbing at things, taking things from life and filling ourselves. But the unity way of thinking is that we come into this life as full vessels. The faucet from source is open. With an infinite supply, we come into this world with everything we need, and we trust in that infinite supply. These are our prosperity teachings. When we believe that there is an infinite supply from source, then we have unlimited, fantastic health, wealth, and relationships. Okay? Who wants fantastic health, wealth, and relationships? Me? Okay, so we want to get synchronized with the divine. All right. Now the third one's a little bit more challenging, so listen up. Let go of the uncontrollable. Anybody else here a control freak? Well, let me tell you, I learned from the master. My mother, rest in peace. I'm going to tell you a story about a Christmas 20 years ago. My mother's expectation and conviction of what a good Christmas is was when the entire living room floor was filled with presents, so much that you could not see the carpet. Yeah. All right? All right. And on this particular Christmas, my oldest daughter was the one and only grandchild to receive all of these presents. She was about 18 months old. So, what do you think happened when I came through the door on Christmas morning and set my toddler down in this sea of presents? She just toddled over to a small one that she could pick up with her tiny hands and sat down and started playing with the silver bow. That's all she wanted, was that silver bow, that shiny silver bow. She was happy and giggling. Well, what do you think my mother did? After a few minutes, she went over, she picked up the largest box in the room and took it over and said, "Hey, look at this is for you." And my daughter looked up and went, "Gamma," and went back to her bow. Okay, and so my mother, I saw this smile come on her face, trying to keep this big smile on as she shook the box. "Hey, don't you want to know what's in this box?" "Gamma," and went back to the silver bow. Okay, well, then I see the tick start. And my mother starts telling all the adults in the house, "Oh, we're never going to get to have lunch. And the lunch is going to be cold, and the food is going to be ruined. We have to get this girl to open some presents." So, I participated a little bit. "Hey, rip this paper. Doesn't this sound fun?" "Mama." Went back to the silver bow. And you get it. It went on like this. Eventually, we did get her to take the paper off of the one package she was playing with. And she threw the gift to the side and was fascinated with stretching out the paper and bringing it back together and crinkling it. So the happy ending of this story is that eventually my mother realized that we were not going to get through all the packages on the living room floor, and Christmas lasted for 3 weeks at her house. So I have had amazing opportunities to learn that the need for control leads to great stress. And I don't want to be there this Christmas. And so, who knows the Serenity Prayer? If you know it, say it with me. If you don't, Google it. This is your homework for the week. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. When we do this, we are more in the flow of life. We are more synchronized with the divine. And we can move on to lesson number 4, which is we are all made of the same thing. What is that same thing? Well, we just talked about we are all divine energy, right? Author Thaddeus Golas wrote, "We are all equal beings, and the universe is our relations with each other." Now, modern physicists, mathematicians are doing their darndest to describe what this connection is that unites us all. But it is a pretty common understanding that there is one energy that runs through everything. The ancient yogis said that it had the energy, the frequency of the sound Om. And that's why we use that sound when we meditate in the Eastern traditions, that this helps to synchronize our human bodies with the divine frequency. And when we recognize that we're all made of the same thing and we're all connected, we will just find organically our connections with the divine and with each other. And I think that's going to lead to much more peaceful holidays around the Thanksgiving dinner table. Yeah? Okay, so the final lesson from the book, there is never a final lesson, this is just the final lesson in the book, Conscious Living, is that life is fullest when we are most true to ourselves. That's Unity's fifth principle. Live the truth we know. So when we're putting all these other steps into practice, we have more opportunity to live from our truest, deepest essence. And when we're making that effort, we are synchronized with the divine. And STD won't get the best of us when we are in the present moment. We'll experience a whole lot less stress and more comfort and joy through this holiday season. I wish you all comfort and joy and love for your Thanksgiving holidays.